Hello, and welcome back to
The room that we created.
If you haven't noticed, or if you didn't notice just a second ago, there was a third voice joining us. That would be our phenomenal, amazing, incredible friend, Kevin Van Aken. He's our guest here today on the podcast. Say hello, Kevin.
Hi, thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to be here.
Well,
The
Kevin
pleasure
is
is
fan.
ours.
The pleasure is ours, but Kevin, I think you know what time it is. It's
Yep.
time to... Oh, yeah. Sorry,
yeah.
I'm a little late. Oh.
Delicious.
We had two at the same time.
I've been parched.
Oh, Jesus. Raspberry lime Solio?
Yeah, this actually sucks.
What? This is so good.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
I feel like it's pinching my mouth.
Yeah, this is one of the best drinks I've ever had.
Well, I just ate a chocolate, so it's probably fucking up my mouth, like
Yeah.
palate.
Yeah, well, maybe.
I mean, I don't know what you're talking
Maybe.
about. It's Sprite already.
Yeah, Kevin's got Sprite. Kevin's a Sprite, more of a Sprite fella, not a...
I need to feed my crippling sugar addiction at all times. So.
Yeah.
Kevin is an average Sprite enjoyer.
You know, the way I actually got into sparkling water, I hated sparkling water. But in high school, I didn't eat or drink because I didn't take care of myself and I was mentally ill.
Understandable.
And so I'd gone probably like a day, probably 32 hours without water, or drink of any sort. And, I had an after-school activity. I think it was a play or a band performance. And the only thing these other art druids drink is fucking LaCroix.
Oh, God.
And so I walk in, I'm like,
Available.
water, I need it! And, my high school band teacher, Miss Meyer, she says, well, we have LaCroix. And so I forcibly drank the thing that I hated until I enjoyed it. And
but it
here
was
we
there
are.
for you in a moment that was so vulnerable and dark that you just think you love it.
Yep, and here we are in a room that we created.
Ain't that a bitch?
Yep.
Ain't that a bitch? So we actually, well, I've saved my gifts for Matti here. She gave me her gifts prior, but we're gonna start the podcast here with an unveiling of these gifts. So
The Christmas presents.
why don't we do one for one? I'll start with this, which I love. And I'm not even gonna talk about the whole Pop Funko arc because that'll ruin it.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Understandable.
But this, for anyone who's not watching on the YouTube, and even if you can, the quality's so bad you
Even if
can't
are
fucking
watching,
see it.
For
It's just-
everyone.
This is a
It's
Jimi Hendrix
72 pixels.
Pop Funko, which is really, really cool. There you go. Right up close and personal. I love this thing. Number 24, the late Kobe Bryant's number. Also gold and white Los Angeles Lakers packaging on this box. So conspiracy, maybe. Some say
Coincidence, I
Kobe
think
was the
not.
Hendrix of basketball.
Some say that.
I said that.
Some
You said
people.
it, and I'll
Definitely
second that. So there-
some people.
Three
Three of
people
us.
say it, and you can say it if you want to. Just, copyright, just.
All right,
That'd be
one
great.
for one. Kevin, for Christmas, got me a cell phone holder for my car, which is, it's sleek, it's chic, it's black, and I love it. And I also very, very much needed it, because the fact I have not murdered or been murdered with my car thus far is an absolute fucking miracle, because I text and drive. It's horrible. It's gender affirming how terrible I am at driving. And so having a fucking
A device that keeps
keeps
it
my
actually in
shit.
front of you, so you don't have to grab it and then do the thing and then shove it back somewhere.
right.
I mean, granted, obviously, I would hope that you didn't don't text and drive. It's bad, but
Oh, I know. I'm
it's
getting
still
better.
at the very least, it's something that I hoped that you would find useful, and I'm glad
I
that
did.
you
I
that
love
you
it.
will.
And then I got Kevin a Master Chief coffee mug.
Yes, it is very.
I remember when we bought. I was there for that buy.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that
you
is.
were.
I actually now have two the special helmets type mugs. So I think it was either last Christmas or 2 Christmases ago. I got a Mandalorian helmet mug.
Nice.
And so now those are just gonna there's a collection. They're gonna start forming a display collection.
There's certain hats and character designs that you just want to drink out of.
Yeah,
The Mandalorian is one of them.
yeah,
A
yeah.
stormtrooper's helmet looks like a cereal bowl, and Droideca's always reminded me of chocolates, like
I don't know
luxury
what a Droideka
chocolates.
is.
The fuckers.
The roly-polies.
Like this
Oh.
The ones that
and
roll and they fall
I
out. They
did
have
know
the
what it-
shields.
I used to know that name too.
Yeah, they have the
I'm
force
stinky.
fields.
I'm big sticky today. Sorry about that.
There was something about them when I was a kid watching the
I'm gonna tap
prequels
my mic.
that was so like tactile and satisfying. Like it was almost like ASMR.
Sound design.
And I wanted
Yep.
to eat them. You know, like I wanted to put them in my mouth.
I can see the sound design thing, but like the one I can kind of see it though because like they're rolling around. It's like in a little ball.
It's like when you.
I used to be obsessed with Star Wars like minifigure Legos. I used to collect the Star Wars minifigs like obsessively as a child.
I can understand that. Yeah, I have a. I mean, I've literally, because I used to like buy because I was super into Transformers for a long time, and I've recently gotten into because of a friend, who's a very good friend at college. I've gotten into Warhammer 40K, and I am now. He calls it a plastic crack addiction.
It is a plastic crack. Hold
Because
on there,
he
Kevin.
has some.
I think we got a little off track, and I think Maddie's just.
No, you guys.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
Oh,
You guys
just go ahead?
Okay.
Okay.
You guys go
Okay,
ahead and
with
continue.
presents
Alright.
that-
Sorry,
happens.
Kevin. Didn't mean to cut you off.
That's
Go
okay. But basically, cause like I have like a total of like 11 models right now, and I only pay or like 12 models. I only paid for 10 of them. He has like imagine a box like this big. He has like 2 of those full of Warhammer minis. Like he's been collecting them for like 7 or 8 years. It's ridiculous.
good God.
And now he's getting me, and he's slowly pulling me into this.
See, people that are into D&D and Warhammer, I find more impressive than people who have like a skincare routine. You know, like just.
I mean, just, like,
so
the
much to
level
keep
of-
track of. It's so much.
It is.
shit.
Like I mean, yeah, D&D. Like I that's another thing. I've actually I did not play D&D at all before last year, and like toward the end of semester last year, I got into a D&D group, and that's been one of the highlights, honestly,
It's so.
because it's so fun. We also like I think it's just the people that I'm in the group with. We have a group D&D Discord, right? We have a cursed quotes folder,
Oh, lovely.
and there's some.
Incriminating evidence in this folder.
There's a little bit. I most of it's not me, but there's some.
Oh, I'm sure.
There,
Kevin.
no, I have
I'm so
some.
sure.
I got some gems in there. Don't worry about it.
I think D&D is one of the most like, I don't know. There's something about it that's so like innocent. It's like our excuse to be fucking children again.
D&D for us is sitting in a shed full of smoke and just cracking fucking quips at each other
Yeah, it's phenomenal. But,
during an arc. It's amazing.
But like the like when you were a kid and you were on the playground, you would like role play and you pretend you're superheroes or whatever.
Yeah, it's like-
that. It's literally that.
A
It's like-
little
with
bit, yeah.
enough
Quite a-
rules to
yeah,
not
you're right.
feel stupid doing it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I guess. I'm at the point where I don't think I'd feel stupid regardless. Like, I'm
Yeah.
like, fuck it, no holds barred.
That's good.
But, so that present right there, Maddie, that's from my entire family, just as a unit. The Bostonians.
the Bostonians.
So what is that right there?
That is a C's candy. Okay. So these presents you've already received, like the Jimi Hendrix Funko and all these things. These are live. You would never got a chance to give me the presents yet. I am reacting to these.
Unwrapping on podcast.
This is an unboxing podcast.
We're having a mukbang with the C's candies. Oh, it's fudge. Is it fudge?
I think those are chocolate cookies. kind
I
of
love
things.
chocolate so goddamn much. You know how much I love chocolate.
Yep.
Chocolate's my favorite food.
Chocolate.
Is there anything else in there? Yeah, there
Yes.
is. Okay, that's
Thank
what I
you.
thought. I was
Thank
making
you.
sure because I know there was something that you didn't get yet.
Genuinely, I like chocolate so fucking much that if this is all you got me for Christmas, I would be fine with that.
Noted.
Okay.
There's so much shit off frame that you don't see right now. It is just garbage. It's just garbage when you're sitting in a floor of it. Just imagine every imaginable surface area encompassing space around us. is
Holy
garbage.
shit. That's fucking cool.
That is very cool.
It's like an ashtray, right? What is this?
It's like an ashtray or a
Or a
platter
soap
that you
thing?
can put thing. It is a soap kind of dish, but you could. It's you can use it for.
You
other
can
things.
see that from there.
So what does it say
It's
on it?
engraved. I haven't read it yet.
Okay.
It's not engraved. It's a little glass thing.
Mm-hmm.
It says this sky. This
Wait,
sky.
Maddie, the mic's back
Oh,
here.
yeah. Oh yeah.
Just talking into the room.
I'm just thinking for me later on.
The sky where we live is no place to lose your wings. So love, love, love. That's phenomenal.
Amazing. I'm
I
glad
love
you like it.
birds. It's fucking fantastic.
That's from the Bostonians.
Thank you
We
very
love
much.
you very much, and we appreciate
Beautiful
you.
mother.
Quality
Um,
gift giving is a genuinely good skill to have. Like
I love it.
we had because we had
Yeah,
we
had,
talked about that.
it's almost
bit.
a hobby
The,
of mine.
the,
I
the,
love giving gifts.
the socks were
Yeah.
some of my favorite
because
things
like
to do.
I don't plan like I typically don't plan that much advance just because I've been like I'm a serial procrastinator and I have to fight it. But like for this year, well, the stuff that I was getting for my family was more just like I sort of got them all similar things, but they're things that I know they would like. Like I got, they all got Yellowstone hats, like actual official show merch Yellowstone caps, and they all got like they all got T-shirts as well. But it's like it wasn't necessarily big things, and they weren't super expensive, but it was stuff that I knew they were going to appreciate, and I got complimented for it later.
Yeah,
and so it's just like,
thoughtful.
and it's such a good feeling when you get somebody a gift and you see them appreciating it.
Yeah. It's the best feeling in the goddamn world. I don't like receiving gifts particularly. I mean, things are awesome. So it's nice to have things, but like gift giving is like
That's
I love
where I
doing
get,
that.
yeah.
It's so fun. But like
To see somebody's, I have to like watch them open it.
We should we'll post this photo of what I'm about to talk about on the Instagram because I didn't bring it with me.
But I got my mom the best fucking Christmas gift ever this year. My mom is obsessed with Pitbull.
No.
Loves
Like the
Mis-
artist Pitbull.
not like the breed of dog, like Mr. Worldwide.
Oh,
Mr.
I think
305,
I saw
Mr.
this.
305.
I saw this.
What breed of dog is that? Exactly as I suspected. Kelly.
He's she fucking loves him so goddamn much. She wakes up every day and starts putting on Pitbull in the morning, and I usually wake up at 7 to feed my cat, and then go back to bed, and then wake up at like 11 for myself. But at 7 in the morning, my mom's getting ready for work, and Pitbull. Every single goddamn morning. I don't know how it has started. I don't know why. But I got her about like a flag. A big knitted flag of Pitbull's face.
Yeah.
Amongst like in front of like a star galaxy background.
Oh my fucking
that
god.
says in like
That's
spray
awful.
paint font,
That's
Mr.
horrible.
Worldwide. And the thing about it's so memeable, it's so fucking hilarious.
Memeable.
It looks amazing.
Yeah, her seeing her reaction to that when she unboxed that was
And the
was
funniest
awesome.
thing, yeah, and she didn't react to it like, oh my god, I can't believe you did, oh what the fuck, like hilarious. She was like touched, genuinely.
Yeah.
It was so amazing.
That's why they call him Mr. Worldwide.
He's Mr. Worldwide. He's just a 305.
Before we finish these this unboxing video, I do want to say that immediately, Kevin, the energy here with you is phenomenal.
Thank you.
I think we should, I guess, give some more backstory on Kevin here. Kevin and I actually met, I think it was 7th grade.
Yeah.
You were in 8th grade. I was in 7th grade.
Yeah.
or-
I believe I was a grade ahead of you. Yeah.
Yeah. But we used to
Fucking hell, that's a long time ago.
ride the school bus together. So the school bus in our district would only kind of go down to a certain point and then stop. And I lived like farther out than Kevin.
'Cause we
but
have-
we
have,
both
like-
got off
yeah.
at the last
Maynard was the
possible
principal.
stop.
Yeah, we had like basically it's like so we have like Maynardville and then we have a town next to it and
Anyways, Kevin and I shared like a 45-minute
so
bus
surreal
ride
to hear
together.
Another person's major thought.
we gotta
would
keep
share-
it going. If I come here and say something different, then we're not like
Yeah, oh my god, that's
We
so
would
funny.
share a
just-
45-minute bus ride every day.
yeah because
The
they'd have to
Tooligans.
they'd go through the town and do everybody else and then they'd come over and just do a little bit of the town that we because I mean
remember-
I was you did you live like further into the town still or were we like
Well,
further
I
close together?
live in the exact same
So okay,
place.
so I was like, right on that edge where they would drop us off. I had a pretty short walk home. You were still like another
I was like a 7-minute. I was like a 5-minute drive.
drive, but yeah. So we
Going semi-fast.
we got off on the same bus stop back in ye old middle school.
And I remember you used to play your DS on the bus a
Yes.
lot, which was really
Very
it was kind of fun.
First video game system that I got was a Nintendo DSi, and I did not play any
It was
of
a DSi.
I did not-
I wanted the DSi
yeah,
very badly.
that was and I did not play any of the games I did not play like the games that you play on Nintendo devices on that ever just because I was not really aware of them. Like I didn't have like a single Mario game or a single Sonic game or anything like that.
You had the scuffed ones. Like,
I had the
darts
scuffed ones
and
too.
shit.
I had the fu-
I had like Harry Potter and the Half-Blood
I had the-
Prince
Oh my
Part
God.
I'm gonna try.
One.
Let me think. What did I have? I think there were a couple. I had a couple of Transformers related ones. Like I had a racing game.
Oh,
I had
the
I had the
Transformers.
I had the Nintendo DS version of COD 4.
Wait, back it up, back it up.
Yes. There is a version of Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare that on the DS and
I remember
was
you showing me this. This is
Wait,
unlocking
like-
I'm having my fucking
like,
Ratatouille moment.
it was
again.
it was the weirdest thing too, because like obviously on any console ever,
I'm about to play Assassin's
You
Creed
play-
on my TI-82.
you but like on any video game console controller ever, you use your triggers or your shoot buttons, right? DS doesn't have triggers, so you know what you use to shoot? You tap the fucking touchpad. like you
That's
literally
like playing COD on a fucking MacBook Air.
On a Kindle.
like you're aiming, you're aiming around, and you just like I think you actually you might actually I think you might have aimed, and because there's no joystick either on those.
That's so.
It's the
fun.
most- it
Yeah,
was the
wait, 'cause,
most-
Yeah, it's getting worse the more I imagine.
It's
Like-
getting worse than what we talk about.
Like, it's just
there's
like-
not two. There's not two.
Yeah, because you had
Joy-
basically
Directionals,
you
yeah.
had on that you had a D-pad, you had your 4 buttons, you had a D-pad, you had the touchpad, and then you had your bumpers out here.
4 buttons like the other D-pad, like the other joystick.
Well, so you had you had a D-pad instead of a joystick basically.
Oh.
And so that was just sort of how
okay.
I dealt with it. But yeah, like that was
Call of
the
Duty
most
DS.
scuffed version, like. That's like almost a whole like topic to talk about is just like the scuffed
Call of Duty 4
the
for the
sc-
DS.
Well, it's like
We can make a whole hour on that.
scuffed like portable console ports of better games.
That's so funny.
yeah.
And then like people have the audacity to like video games causing violence, you know, in real world violence, like this kind of like viewing like.
Meanwhile,
4 pixels
here
through
me looking at a 500 pixel image on a screen that's that big,
yeah, just tapping. Like most of it's getting obstructed by your hand anyway.
furiously tapping because there's no, to try to get before I can
That's
just
how
get
God
randomly.
plays with us, if there is
Oh, shit.
one.
Oh yeah, you did.
If there is such
Take
a
a shit.
God plays with us like we play
Through a
COD 4
DS.
for the DSi. Is to
DSi.
was as to is.
That's okay. That
Uh,
brought me a lot of joy.
okay.
Knowing that there's a
Alright,
COD
so-
4
Eh.
on the fucking.
anyway,
Anyway, the next present that Maddie got me is beautiful. It is a fucking beautiful gold watch here, and
It's solid gold.
it's I was gonna say it's solid gold, and
It's not.
well, it's solid gold, and it looks like this to anyone watching on the YouTube.
this is a very pretty watch.
It's a gorgeous watch, and it looks a lot like the one my grandfather used to wear, so I was immediately touched upon opening the watch. It says time and true, just like our bond.
Time and true. Our bond is very time.
I would hope that it
Time.
tells the time pretty truthfully. That's the feeling.
You know what's funny? Gold to
can't
me,
get this shit on.
gold to anyone who's not in the
can't get the
gold
fucking case on.
harvesting industry
Oh,
is a color,
is that
not
what
a
it's for?
material.
Right.
And if there had
there's
been,
no such thing as white cheddar.
Well, that's the thing. If there was no such thing as gold, would we know?
Just dyed platinum.
Yeah. Like if it
Silver.
was just a color.
It's nice yellow, nice tan.
It could. That's one of those things that could not even be real, and we wouldn't know the difference.
I don't think that's true. I think we would know the difference because they literally have different like weights and like chemical fucking components.
Yeah, but like I'm saying, if
You're saying like
if they had
if
been lying about
if
it.
gold like if
Well,
gold
that works for literally everything then. That
No,
line
but,
of thinking,
no.
doesn't
What I'm
it?
saying is like if someone like hands you like do you take a piece of steel that's golden, it's colored like that,
right.
you know, and they're like this is gold.
Well, that's fool's gold. That's the concept of fool's gold.
Have you ever seen real gold? Because I think I have, but I couldn't like. I'm
Yeah,
saying,
have you
if
ever-
It's not real. I
Yeah,
wouldn't
I've
know.
never been to New York and seen that the towers aren't there anymore.
But you just.
So, I'm pretty sure.
No, what I'm saying is like.
cut.
No, you leave that in. You fucking leave that in. No, what I'm saying is
Yeah,
like
it's
there
been
are
a while.
this is what we were talking about, like the white cheddar and how to make.
not at all.
No, yes, it is. It's like how to make balsamic vinegar and the white cheddar thing. It's like there's so many aspects of our day-to-day life that we understand so little about that if it were just witchcraft,
This is two
we
steps from
wouldn't know.
QAnon. This is.
it's not.
is
No, QAnon thinks they know things.
that's what
Are
I'm
you
Trying
saying-
to
are
say
you
that we
saying-
know nothing at all.
Okay.
Oh, okay. All right. I'll give you that benefit.
Okay.
Anyway,
This is from
Christmas
me directly.
presents.
This is the other thing. The one of the presents was a yin yang purse that was meant. I bought it months back, but Maddie just walked in and I had it out, and she was like, this is cool. Where'd you get this? And I'm like, oh, there you go, Merry Christmas.
Yeah, it was like 6 months earlier.
Yeah,
That's a nice purse.
This goes with it.
Whoa! God damn!
That is cool, dude.
Yeah.
Oh,
okay, cool. I
shit.
did well.
That's fucking phenomenal. I've never been so excited to see less t-shirt than I expected.
That is.
I opened it up and like
Great
there's no
quote.
sleeves. That's fucking sick.
Yeah, you can't really see it from here. It has
Yeah.
dominoes and
must-
hearts.
Describe it for me, Kevin. I'm too
Okay,
far from
you
the
have
mic.
basically
Describe
there's
it
so
for
it's got
for
the color
Kevin.
combination. You have there's the yin yang, there's hearts, there's dice.
Nice,
And-
not dominoes. Or
Yes.
they could be dominoes, can't they?
I mean, it could be. It could be.
Could be
I
dominoes.
just-
Could be the
I-
top half of a domino.
Tabletop
is
player over here. I just
fucking
I see a
sick.
cube with the dots on it. I'm like, oh, it's a D6.
I'm gonna put it on.
Okay. I hope it fits
dude, this
well.
is sick. This is beautiful.
I thought you would really.
This is
enjoy
fucking so cool. Oh my god. I have the pants for these too. Like I'm literally.
Yeah, I thought I could see you wearing
I
it.
got a whole ass outfit. I know.
Oh,
I'm
it
wearing
fits
it.
great. Thank you.
Fits.
Thank the Lord.
It fits perfect.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you, Zach. I love you
Of
so
course,
much.
buddy.
That was
Love you
phenomenal.
too. Love you too.
I got candy. I got a new soap jar.
Yep.
Look at this jar.
The joy,
That
the
Zach
joy
bought.
of the holiday season.
Look at this new Warhammer minifigure.
Like actually not even joking though, because when I go back down for the next semester, because my friend he has a bunch of people at like the local Warhammer store and they orchestrate a bunch of stuff. I'm getting a box that has I think like, I want to say like 20 more miniatures and it's worth like $150
Damn.
or something like that. That's the other thing too. The reason why why Warhammer players a lot of times caution people to getting into it. It is an expensive hobby. Like, they charge, let's see here. So if you get a box of, like, a standard box that has, like, 10 figures in it, because I play Space Marines, which are the ones that you see everywhere. A box of, like, 10 models is, like, $60.
Damn. Okay, wait.
Most-
And they're
Wow.
fucking that big, right?
And they're that big, but I think it's also,
Like
it's a
like
model
like
kit.
an
So you have to take it out, and you have to
inches.
cut them out. You have to cut them out of the little sheet and glue them together and then paint them.
Damn.
That's something that. So I've kind of recently just found out about this through Kevin, but that's something that I really admire about it is the painting aspect of it, because I think that's fucking awesome. It's like a physical.
again.
It's kind of like how you do a character chart and like all that shit in D&D, but it's physical and it's really cool and it's arts and craftsy and it's meditative. And I used to do that shit with my mom when I was like real little. Put the little fucking arts and crafts things together. It reminds me of like a more sophisticated like it. It's not that, but it touches me in that spot.
Yeah, like it has the...
It's like blending two completely different hobbies together.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
been super enjoyable. Like it's been one of the things I've enjoyed a lot about since I've gotten into it and I've been enjoyed doing over the break. It's just like having those like after I got off work, I'm at home, I'm just like, you know what? Even though the light's kind of crap right now, I want to paint, and so I get to work on it. I mean, it's like they don't look like they have like the box art and stuff, and they're obviously not to that quality because I am not an artist. I do my best with what I have, and I think they look decent. But they're also the particular armor that I chose. Their main color is yellow, and weirdly with the paint that I chose, when you like take pictures of it, it looks like piss yellow for some reason.
It's got that piss quality.
That piss that
Soundbite of
that
Kevin saying piss yellow.
piss yellow. There we go.
That wasn't a command, but thanks.
I got it. Just why not? But like that's been something that I'm like kind of looking forward to in the coming months is getting more into that. Not the necessarily spending more money part, but the building that up.
So something that Kevin, when he got here, talked about. He comes up to me and he goes, "Ah, damn it! I should have brought the lightsabers." And that
yeah.
that is because Kevin is an integral part. So Kevin really likes to LARP with lightsabers, and it's
Well,
really,
okay, I guess
or you explain
I
it
realize
better.
I'm actually repping the shirt. I'm
Yeah, you're literally wearing it. I was
repping
gonna
club
say.
merch.
It's so cool. It's so cool.
At the school that I go to, there is a club on campus called AZ Saber, and it's basically like it's a lightsaber fighting club. And so you have like basically students. You have these lightsabers which they light up, but they're stunt sabers. They're made of polycarbonate.
They're really cool.
And they're really cool. and we fight with them. I guess it's LARPing, but it's not LARPing, but it's like
Okay.
there's
It's like
there's
LARPing with actual like fucking like elements of fencing.
there's
in it,
there's
because
actual there's
real.
I mean
There's
there's
actual
like
swordsmanship and
there's
fucking
technique
skill.
there's technique in there, but there's also stuff that's like safety because like you don't stab people because it's painful, and you have to teach people like there's rules about running and stuff. But that's been another highlight of like the last semester and a half of college is doing that, because it's just I hang out with a bunch of people who, you know, a bunch of we even like literally at the end of every club meeting, like we were in a circle, we introduce each other if there's new people, and then we put our sabers into a pylon, and the
touch swords.
touch
Touch
swords.
tips.
The club president the club president goes, "What are we?" And then everybody else yells, "A bunch of goddamn nerds."
That's cool.
Because we just like, there's no way around that.
Yeah,
And but
fucking, that's so sick. That's
Yeah,
so
the fact
cool.
that there's I don't know, it reminds me, I don't know why, but like every time you talk about it, it reminds me of like Superbad.
Me too. I get
Like it's like, you know, like there's an actual
too.
like a nice like
Shut the fuck up, Fogel.
yeah, like semi countrywide known college, you know, with like has a fucking lightsaber dueling club with actual like fucking rules and
Well,
swordsmanship, like
the thing-
combat.
The thing that I'm getting at with this is that the reason Kevin was bringing the lightsabers is because we are in a Zach Gammon challenge where we do a lightsaber duel accurately like you would as kids. You know, if you like a ninja, if you hit a leg, the leg's gone until you
Yeah.
kill, and whoever wins it wins. We have played one game of Zach Gammon this year. We picked a whole new set of pieces, which we talked about in episode 4 of Zach Gammon.
Yep.
Go watch that if you haven't seen it. It'll make a lot more sense. But we,
Does
you know,
that count as
picked
a-
we
does that
picked
count as a plug?
pieces.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's a plug. It's a shameless.
I mean, well, you're
self-promotion.
plugging your own little defense. Anyway.
So, anyways, we pick new pieces every year, each time with a theme. We picked pieces in January, and we played one game in like February, and it's gonna go now the whole year, and we've been in this fucking game
Yeah,
for the
it
whole
is-
year. We're gonna have played one game in this entire year, not only of Zach Gammon, but it makes me more upset that we're about to pick new pieces, and we only played one
single game all
with
year.
the old
And it never
pieces. We
ended.
spent like 3 whole days perfectly crafting these pieces so they were hilarious. It's the comically small themed items. We're gonna go into the new year and like
have
we
new themes.
have fucking new pieces, and we're gonna have done one game with.
We have technically not completed a game.
Yeah.
Well, we can get this done in the next like what is it?
Two couple days.
Two couple
It's
days
what-
and play
what
a
is the day?
game
It
the
is the
next
28th.
day, and go into the new year with it, or do we just call it as the game that lasted a whole year?
The game that lasts.
I said do that, because like,
And
yeah,
because
because we have.
begin it post.
Post peppercorn to Gammon.
Post peppercorn jam. Post
PG.
Anakin Gammon. But
Wait, no. So it's just episodes 4. It's just post prequels.
yeah,
It's
post.
just A New Hope. Zach
A New
Gammon
Hope.
episode.
Zach
Zach
Gammon,
Gammon
A New
season
Hope.
3. A New Hope. Oh my god. Oh my god.
But the point is, we.
Or
had-
is that episode 6? And episode 6 is.
Episode 4 is The New Hope.
Okay, that's what I was just making.
Yeah.
I thought it was.
It was
I'm just
3 and
making
then
sure.
3, yeah.
And then
Fucking-
Empire Strikes Back's 5, and then what's 6?
Return of the Jedi.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah.
Kevin.
We
Just wanted to be
had-
clear.
Resident Star Wars nerd at your service.
It's nice to have.
We had fucking. Yeah, the game of Zach Gammon that we're currently in is contingent upon the winner of the lightsaber duel, and the fact that one of our friends, like in the midst of the game, got into an actual lightsaber dueling
Yeah.
club and knows
Like,
the official rules.
I wish
It's
somebody would have
perfect.
seen my reaction upon watching that, because like I was watching the episode of the pod. I don't remember what I was doing at the time. I was watching the episode of the podcast.
The
and you guys
pod racing
mentioned.
cast.
Now this is a podcast.
Oh, geez. Now this is podcasting? Question mark.
This is podcast.
Now this is podcasting.
God damn it!
Oh no.
How have we not said that before?
I don't know. Where
Where
were we?
It's because you didn't have me. You didn't have me to drop
Yeah.
the group IQ even further. Anyway.
Wait a minute.
Reaction.
We gotta talk.
But yeah, like my reaction upon watching that is like I was like, oh shit! Wait, I can actually like when I'm back in town, I can just be like, because I have 2. Because
you're the judge.
I happen to own 2 sabers because I do staff and I also dual wield.
That's so cool.
That
The
is
dual
Yeah.
wielding, like it's fucking badass.
Yeah, but yeah, like I literally have 2 sabers. They're exactly the same, and so it's like perfect.
Yeah.
They're
If you guys are ever in town on the nights that we do Saber, you guys should come.
Oh, I will one day. I really want
Maddie,
to see that.
we should drive to more southern Maynardville and go to that.
We need another name. We need more town name because we have to expand the lore.
Well, I
of
lived
we
where
live.
Kevin is talking about for 2 years. That's, be careful with that, buddy. I don't know how I think it's delicate.
You
It is.
I did live where Kevin
lived and acquired knowledge and got that. Hold on, that's a whole other podcast.
Yeah, so maybe we should
episode.
what would we name it? What would we name it?
Cooperstown.
Why?
Alice Cooper lives there, doesn't he?
No, he lives in Supreme downtown Maynardville.
Supreme down.
This is so obscure for
We're like-
anyone
It's not
listening.
even-
I'm so
no
sorry.
way.
We
This
should-
The best
we'll figure out a name for it.
the best part of this is that anyone who knows us knows exactly what we're talking about, and everyone else is just like, "What the fuck?"
It's completely lost.
Yeah, that's great. That's so fuck. Well, all right.
We had entered this episode.
There was an idea.
wanting,
for a podcast.
Yeah, wanting to talk about creative writing.
That's what we. That's what we
That was the initial idea, at least.
Because all three of us have written works of fiction, and just I write a lot of poetry. I don't write much fiction. I write a lot of poetry and a lot of.
Oh man, I got an idea. We should read some poetry, and maybe Kevin, you can read a story at the end of it if you're open to it.
I'd be fine with that.
That would be really
That'd be sick.
cool.
How much time do we have on the podcast
Oh.
right now?
We have we're at 30 minutes.
Fuck. I can summarize most of the stuff.
We're
I
at
have kind of
28
long,
minutes.
but I can at least summarize some of the
30
stuff.
minutes.
But yeah, so we had this idea to kind of talk about it because it's something that we all share and that we all enjoy doing. So yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, a question that I had to myself about creative, and it's different with poetry than it is with writing a work of fiction, But what is there what is the prime environment? Do you get stricken by ideas?
Yes.
Yes.
I did.
Okay, so ideas come in and that's it.
Uh-huh.
Because that's how
me.
I am. And
Yeah.
I was interacting with a couple of other writers online. I was on this Transcendentalist Poetry Reddit, and they were fucking talking about how writing. Some people have an idea that just enters their brain and they get possessed by ideas, and other people get inspired by whatever environment, and then they get the mood of the thing that they're trying to create.
For me, it's that, and then the idea comes as a result.
I'm kind of the same way, actually, because
if I'm in the right space, in the right environment, and I'm feeling, I guess, a certain aesthetic or energy around me or internally, then it creates a space for ideas to come in.
Okay, so my next question is, what are those spaces typically? What is the most inspiring environments for you guys?
Where I feel like absolute shit, and I've listened to Frank Sinatra's fucking life before 5 times in a row, and I'm on the way home, and then instead of a 6th time, Duster comes on. And all of a sudden I get home. This is real. I got home and I wrote I wrote the idea for a whole fucking book that I'm planning to write. The story, the characters, the arcs. It was all done right after that. I had been planning a book, all how the book was gonna end, and the characters, all the names and shit. Fucking, it was done. Duster and Frank Sinatra.
Wow.
interesting.
I love that.
Yeah, I don't know.
I love that. There is something so charming about crooner music that makes me want to write because it's so romantic.
About what music? Sorry,
crooners.
could you talk about?
Sinatra,
Okay.
those types of people.
I'm so stupid.
Yeah, I that's what I thought.
Yeah,
Okay.
I don't know, 50s kind of music always makes me want to write every time I hear it in a movie or anything, because it's a genre of music I don't know enough about at all, but every time I hear it, I rewatched Joker recently, the Joaquin Phoenix Joker, and then when That's Life came on, I was like, I want to write, or I want to make a movie, or I want to fucking, write a poem right now, because there's something about that style of music that it's
it's so performative and so like like glitzy that it's almost impossible to not be self-aware about how performative it is.
Yeah.
So it, like, whether intentionally or not, almost makes it like more self-aware because of how, from our modern perspective and like super ironic, cynical perspective, how absurd that is.
Well, that's the whole. It's the song I was listening to
Post-siren.
was "Something Stupid" by Frank Sinatra, and it's because of the fucking Better Call Saul memes with the "Something Stupid."
Yeah.
And I also had obviously listened to some Sinatra before, but like that's the I don't know how to tie that, but.
Kevin, what inspires you?
I don't know. I mean, honestly, I think a lot of the stuff that I've written, I feel like I kind of wear because I will have. It's a combination of maybe one or two original ideas, like initially, and inspiration from something. Like I tend to wear, because if you know the stuff that I like, and the stuff that I enjoy, you'll see that in the things that I write.
Mm-hmm.
Like the very first things that I ever wrote were essentially screenplays for like a trilogy of action movies, which I'm sure will never get made.
Well, never say never.
But well, I mean, but like realistic expectations. But like there's sequences and things in there which are heavily inspired by some of my favorite action films. But lots of the other elements and like the overall story and stuff is stuff that I've had to come up with on my own. And I've gotten like when I get story ideas isn't necessarily consistent. It can be that I watch something or whatever else. But the weirdest thing for me is when I get filling out details. Because like I'll have a general outline of like I have character here, it needs to get from character here, but how do I actually want to plan this out? I'll be like it's happened a few times. I'll be like at the gym or something. And I think it's just because my body is just exhausted. And my brain, because I'm just in my own thoughts, basically listening to music or whatever, I just start thinking. Think about, okay, so at the start of this part of the story, these characters are doing this thing. How do we get from here to here? What if they did this? What if they did this? What if they did this? And I'll start putting that together.
It's almost like you're like acting it out in your brain, like running simulations.
Well, like running a simulation,
You know,
just thinking like, and so I'll have like, and because I mean, I can just be like, if I'm not in that sort of state where if I'm just in the middle of my busy day or whatever, I'll think about it, but then I won't figure anything out, and then I'll come back to it later. But there are just those certain times of day when I'm like doing nothing else or whatever, where I have time to sort of sit and think about it, and normally when I'm tired for some reason, where I actually get useful answers. Or like genuine ideas of, oh, what if they did this, and then that ties back into that, and then that ties back into that, and then I get like the cohesive thing that I end up going with.
That's sick. It's just kind of like, well, that's also kind of your engineer brain.
Yeah, maybe
Yeah.
a little bit.
Like
yeah.
it's amazing to have, like, because I think you're a pretty type A person.
Yeah,
you
that's
know?
fair.
Define
And to
type
be
A.
like-
Define type A.
I don't. How do you define that? What is it? I've heard it used so many times.
It's a weird thing because I know exactly what you're talking about, but if I try to, I'm
Type
sure
A-
I'm going to describe it wrong.
Type A people are like very like organization based and
like okay.
pragmatic and shit.
Understood.
Type B people are very like super expressive and kind of manic.
Oh,
and, like,
oh.
that's what
Yeah.
I heard. Is that what it is? But like the fact that like you can like a person, I don't know. It's almost a superpower to be kind of a type A person and really creative, because like you can just kind of allow your brain to start putting this shit together in front of you, and then you like listen to it. Because for me, I like, you know, I get ideas in compartment, like I get them deconstructed, like I get them all like dumped into my fucking brain.
Well,
You
this
know,
is a
and, like-
oh my god.
Huh.
This is a perfect segue. Well, we've talked about before that when the three of us are together, that it's the complete like representation of the autism spectrum. Like when the three of us are in a room together, like when Kevin and I haven't seen each other for a while, we'll have these periods of like a few months where Kevin and I won't see each other, and then we'll all get together with Maddie. My gelling with Maddie will be like that, and my gelling with Kevin will be there, but like weirdly, I think like there's like sometimes like a weird like communicative like introspective wall that's going on for like a few minutes, and it's like so confusing because it just creates this strange thickness of air when we all get together and we haven't
It's a
been together.
feedback loop.
It's a feedback loop. It's like when you put your guitar up to it, and then all of a sudden, like after some time, the fog like slowly shifts. It moves away, and like it all clears. But like when we're together, it is all the traits of fucking autism. It's the fucking it's the fucking rings from Captain Planet.
That's so fucking true.
Oh wow.
Oh, I love that.
Oh, that's it. All right.
I'm like the fucking queer TikTok autism. You know, like I'm that sphere. You know, and like Kevin's like a fucking genius. You know, and like your writing is like absurd and like just like one step ahead all the time. And I feel like you have like the fucking.
The juice.
You got the juice. You got the fucking like, I don't know. You have a weird blend of like Jacob Collier autism.
Jacob
and
Collier with
iDubbbz
filthy.
autism. That's exactly what I was gonna say.
It's like Jacob Collier and Filthy Frank, like edgelord, like oh my god, I had this. I'll talk about it briefly, but I called Matti the other night with a song for the podcast that was really, really too edgy and like awful and like horrible to put at the end, like genuinely a fucking offensive out of context.
It wasn't that bad.
No, a little bit, but like just I'm trying to play it up because I'll say some shit sometimes that's like maybe like we gotta tone that down, and I'm like, this is funny, right? And Matti's like, no. Don't do that. And I like didn't understand it. I was like, what do you mean don't do it? Like it's funny. Like it didn't make sense at the time, so I got kind of pressed about it. But we sorted it all out. It was like we came to the understanding together. But it's like it's like me and my music. It's like that mixture of like Jacob Collier autism with like I'm doing everything all at once, and then the fucking welcome to the rice fields, motherfucker.
Yeah, just the fucking random noises. The noises.
Yeah, iDubbbz autism is almost better than.
That's fantastic.
Okay, that's
Well, back to creative writing.
Back to writing.
After that little detour.
just a slight.
So, Kevin, what was the how long ago was the last work that you think you did? And
The last work
What was it briefly about?
The last thing that I finished. Okay.
It doesn't even have to be finished.
Ooh, okay. Well, because I write original stuff, and then I also sometimes write stuff with. Like it would amount to basically fan fiction with characters that I don't own, just because I really like it or enjoy it. I think I tried. I tried writing something God of War related because I recently played through the God of War 2018 and God of War Ragnarok, and they're both phenomenal games. But I just like my brain was just elsewhere, and I just kind of wasn't in it. I think the last thing that I worked on was another thing with characters that I don't own, which was crossover between I think it was the Percy Jackson novels.
Oh, I fucking love those.
And have you ever seen the show universe of Stargate?
I haven't.
Which are like they're very different. But like I don't remember how exactly the idea came to me. It was more that just because like I read the Percy Jackson novels because the original series of that. I think the first book came out back like 2006 or something. And so they've been around for forever. And the author's been adding to that universe for a long time. And I just was like, I got sort of back into it after having not been in it for like 4 years. And my brain is kind of going. And I was just obsessed with the characters and getting back into this. I was like, I want to write something with this. But I don't have the knowledge of mythology that he does, and I've not done the research he does, to write something, nor could I write in that own universe something as well as he. Because he's like, I don't have that much of a library of like adult novels under my belt to say like, yes, he's a phenomenal writer. But I was rereading some of those books, and like they're for kids. Basically, I don't know what the exact like the Percy Jackson books. But
I'll
like
agree with that.
the amount of information that he conveys in like one page is like the same amount if you were reading like a fully adult like thriller novel or something that'd be conveyed in like 3 pages. Like he's so succinct.
It's efficient.
It's so succinct and efficient in how he writes.
I could not ever find the words to describe exactly, but I know distinctly in my head exactly the type of literature. Like I can almost read it as you're describing it to me.
Yeah.
Because I know what that feels like to read something that's like.
But yeah, but so like the reason this was like I was into this and I was obsessed with this and I wanted to do something with these characters, and I was just thinking because I had also gotten back into because Stargate was a franchise that I sort of grew up with. Like my favorite like probably fiction franchise, definitely sci-fi franchise of all time is Star Trek. I know that wearing a Star Wars shirt, that sounds like heresy, but it's fine. Just grow up.
Kevin's the middle ground.
I love pretty much all sci-fi, but Star Trek is sort of my favorite. But most of those shows had ended by the time I was growing up. So Stargate was the show that I grew up with, and those shows, it's a shame they're not around anymore because they're great. But I realized that the tones of those two, of the novels and the Stargate shows, were fairly similar. And I just started thinking, okay, so how would I make this work? And so I started getting ideas, and I started writing it. And that was one of those ideas where when I finally got the idea to make it work, I just started writing, and I didn't want to stop.
Yeah.
And I just like going, and eventually it kind of fizzled out, and I had to move on to other things. But that was probably the last thing that I worked on.
Fucking that's cool as shit. Cause I'm trying to think of a comparison of what that's like mixing Stargate with Percy Jackson, and writing a fan fiction, but it's
that's Terraria.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
just
that was also a very interesting thing, because most of the things that I've written up to this, most of the stuff that I've written up to this point has been written as screenplays. Basically, it's like bullet points of this happens and this happens and this happens and this happens and this happens, and the amount of detail kind of varies depending on how well thought out something is. But this, because it was based on it's using characters from the novels, I wrote this like a novel. And so that meant I was writing out and describing everything. And this is also, I think, the first time that I've fully written out dialogue before. Because, this is a whole other subtopic, but dialogue for me is it's not easy. That was the thing. That was the thing I was the most terrified of writing when I first started.
Okay, I'm the opposite. Cause I said it in the film thing that I like movies as much as I like music. I think that's the high art of movies, whatever. We talked about that, but I am writing a screenplay, or I've written a screenplay. I've been continuously editing it for a long time, and I just have it in my back pocket. And the plan is, if I ever go somewhere with my music to be able to fund this film, I'm gonna make it. I'm gonna make the movie. Sometimes honestly, if I'm 30 years old and don't have a successful career yet, I'm fucking taking out a bank loan and making this movie. I don't care, because it just has to exist.
It's a great screenplay.
But
I have not read it. I should.
Yeah,
I would love to read
versions of it. Yeah, it's I have so many versions of it now. I have 4, I think. But dialogue is the easiest part for me. It's hard for me to piece together a story that's substantive enough to, plot wise. That's difficult. It's aesthetics and tone and dialogue I'm really good at. I cannot I'm not a great storyteller. I'm a poet, really. And so dialogue for me is my strong suit. And so I tried to kind of make the plot work in my favor with that, because the movie is about, it's called Blood and Roses, and it's about a couple that start becoming incredibly violent vigilantes. And
have you told me about this before?
Yeah, I think
you have.
Yeah, it they're propelled into it by an event of someone who harasses the main character's girlfriend, and basically they go on this rampage, brutally murdering people who were connected to their friend's past, their friend is in the witness protection program. And they've known this. It's not like they live otherwise normal lives, but they have this friend who they become closer and closer to. And after this traumatic event that kind of sets the two characters up at the beginning of the movie to have this very nihilist fuck it all attitude, prompts them to become super violent, because they're very caution as the wind now. And it's intercut of them going further and further down this rabbit hole of hunting down people that they think deserve to be murdered. It will do little almost vignettes of the 3 characters in the movie, the couple that are dating and that are doing this shit, and then their friend that they're kind of doing it for. And after a super violent scene or some emotionally an arc resolves or something, it'll go back in time and do a vignette about the character's origin. And so there's a scene of the dude, the main character in school, you know, and it'll do like 15 minutes on that. You get his back story.
I love that shit.
You know, and then it does like
I love
there's a whole
that shit.
subplot where his sister is sick and like that's present and you get to see that in his little back in time. There's going to be title cards of each character's name. So like something fucked happens, then it'll be like this guy, and then it'll do his little vignette, and then it'll do 15 minutes of like this is what this guy was at before the movie started, and then it'll go back into the movie, you know, and the idea was that is like the movie ends with them essentially like, oh well, I won't spoil it, I'll let you read it, but it's just. My point is with dialogue and writing, for me, like the whole movie is really about aesthetics and it's about character study, and the plot is pretty thin.
Character
But like,
study, yeah.
yeah, the pacing and the just I don't know, and I have a lot of ideas for music with it. This is why I wouldn't want to make the film on a hamstring budget, is because there are songs in it that need to be in the fucking movie.
Right, and obviously,
You know?
if you want to use those songs, you got to pay some people some money.
Yeah, exactly. So like the aesthetic of the movie is like very post-hardcore, very emo. So
Okay.
like there needs to be Deftones songs in there. There needs to be brand new. There needs to be like fucking
Slutty.
yeah, there's a Tonight by Smashing Pumpkins.
This is gonna be
There's
my
a whole
favorite movie.
sequence that I've
This
written
is
with
gonna
that
be my
song.
favorite movie.
I wrote an entire murder sequence to Tonight by Smashing Pumpkins.
You know
Like,
I'm a
it's
slut.
like
you know I like Deftones. You know I like Smashing Pumpkins.
Yeah, it's got to be like that, you know. And so, but yeah, no, dialogue comes easy to me because I view dialogue like music, you know?
Right.
Like it's less about the point and more about the whole just execution of it. It's about the journey of it, and that's why I'm a poet, really. Like, you know, I'm not a storyteller, but I'm not good at it yet. At least
I don't agree with that. I feel like you've shared many stories with me that I find particularly ball tickling.
Well, thank you.
That's yeah.
You
I mean, yeah. Honestly, like
compliment.
I love listening to your ideas for stuff because it's just like, I think every single one of the ideas that you've come up with is something that I would have never thought about because it's just like it's so different from the stuff that I think about writing, and I always appreciate that. Like I think what was it that you told me about? There was something that you think it was that you and Polly were working together with the fucking. I don't even remember
the
now.
Trader Joe's movie.
Yes.
Oh my God.
That one.
Yeah. Oh my god.
That was great. Like I
Yeah.
remember listening to this, and I'm just like, this is like,
yeah.
this is like it's something I never think of because it's like I feel like you have like the indie filmmaker mindset of like you have. I mean, and I mean that as a compliment.
Oh, I know. Yeah. That
Of
is
like
a compliment.
this is just something that is a passion project because you have this idea and it's mostly character. Like most of the stuff that I write is. I would say, I mean, the plot and character, they're very closely related, but most of the stuff that I write is based around a plot that happens, and so the characters follow the plot, and there's, like, set pieces and things that happen.
Right.
Whereas I feel like a lot of the stuff that you focus on is more about there's character study stuff.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
I like to try and combine it. So with my book, I'm writing a book, or I'm going to write a book, and it's based on factual events. So I don't really want to disclose too much about this book. I'm gonna gatekeep it,
Nice.
but there are factual events that happened that give me material to work
It's
with.
historical fiction, right?
I am creating a story within that, those events that happened that did not happen. Parts of the story happened, you know,
Right.
and there's, you know, it is historical fiction. But I like to kind of set things along the way that I know are going to happen. I know how this character's thing, I know how it's going to end. I know these few things are going to happen and I'm going to fill in the gaps. But the reason I'm kind of trying to get to the end is to fulfill those characters' arcs and prove something about their character and do a study on each of their characters and their archetypes. But like I also have pinpointed things for them to go about doing that will kind of explore those areas of character development.
It's almost like you're interested in situations.
Yes, like what would a person do in this situation?
Right.
And like why would this character make this choice? You know, why would this character choose to do this thing? What does it say about them? What questions does it present about the way we view the world? That's kind of where the story's at. And I know that's very avant-garde and kind of a little vague because I'm not really giving any details about it and just the idea
No, it makes
and the
a lot of
concept.
sense.
But yeah.
That is actually kind of like almost perfect middle of the road
Yeah.
way of looking at. Because yeah, I feel like from what you've described about how you write and what I've read of what you've written, it's like
You still don't know how the book ends. I have to tell you this shit.
oh yeah,
my
I'm
God.
excited as fuck. That's gonna be great. But like what I've read of like your scripts and like the things you've sent me and the way you talk about how you write is like, it's like you're very like, it's obviously plot driven, but like beyond that, it's like idea driven. You know,
Right.
It's like this is a concept, and this is a like you're presented with like almost like a play of like this is like things that can fucking happen. Like and
Okay.
what like you're coming up with ideas of like your creativity comes from like what is possible to occur. Like what
Yeah,
can
okay, I
what can
gotcha.
happen here if you set up these high concepts in these situations and these what I mean?
Yeah.
And like watching that, it's almost like your plot is the character. That you're doing
Yeah,
character
yeah,
stuff.
I
You know
kind of
what I'm saying?
understand that.
Perfect way to
Yeah,
kinda
and
describe
like
it,
like
to make sense.
that's your like super strong suit. It's like especially reading the fucking Spider-Man one you made.
Oh
Like, you
yeah,
made a Spider-Man
actually I do
fanfiction
kind of want to talk about that
phenomenal.
because that's I mean that's obviously
Is it readable? Like, how long could you read it in?
I maybe it's like okay it's
Well, because I'm
It's a
thinking,
it's a
movies.
it's well it's not it's a
okay.
movie it's like a movie screenplay. It's like
because I still want to end.
it's
with,
Google Doc. It's on a Google Doc. It's like 36 pages.
Maybe not.
Maybe
Because
not.
I still want to end. With,
I can summarize it. I could summarize it though because basically, I mean, am I good to?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I had this is the seeds for this were planted when because we all saw Spider-Man No Way Home in theaters.
Yeah,
And
crying.
phenomenal,
we all were there.
phenomenal
So good.
film. I don't
Best
care what
MCU.
I know that it's the people are starting to look back and be like, yeah, it's a Marvel movie. No, it is a fucking good movie. It is a really good movie.
It's nostalgia.
And it brought back, and even just without the nostalgia, it's a very well written movie. And it feels a very
It's everything that
core
good, like-
Spider-Man story.
Yeah, it's what Marvel movies can be all the time. It's like the best of that style of film, like that
Yeah.
blockbuster shit. Because obviously that's not like my scene primarily of what I love about movies. But as far as Marvel movies go, that was like done
Great.
perfectly.
Yeah, and also, I mean, that's
I
almost a
agree
whole
with
other
that.
discussion. But it's like,
So
so
good.
watching that and seeing Andrew Garfield come back as Spider-Man, because like, I mean, I actually watched the Raimi Spider-Man trilogy, like about 5 or so months prior to the movie to No Way Home coming out, and so I kind of gotten because I'd seen those when I was growing up or whatever, but like. Those movies are like a fairly complete story, and I felt like he got a fairly complete run. Tom Holland's Spider-Man with the 3 movies, I felt like he has told like a very complete story, and he's in a very good place. And obviously, they're going to have him in future stuff. Andrew Garfield
Got fucked.
2 movies, and got fucked by the studio on Amazing Spider-Man 2. And I had not seen that much of those 2 films, but seeing him in No Way Home and
It's
how
almost like No Way Home. It was his third movie.
it kind of was
Yeah,
his third movie,
yeah.
but like that, seeing him in that and seeing how good he was, because he was, I mean, even though he's only in that movie for the last act of it, he does such a good job.
He's so goddamn likable.
But that sort of gave me the idea, that sort of planted the seed. And then, like 2 months later, I saw Into the Spider-Verse for the first time. And that is a
Oh.
phenomenal film.
Oh
That's,
yeah, that movie's perfect.
And after that, I just had the idea, what if I wrote the 3rd movie that Andrew Garfield never got? And
you did.
And I did. And I wrote it. And it's like I took some ideas from, primarily my 2 biggest sources of inspiration for that were from Spider-Verse and from the Spider-Man PS4 game. The one that came out, was it 2018 or whatever, which I'm actually playing through now, and it's a phenomenal game.
That's so good.
I
I remember the old PS2 Spider-Man. I loved that one.
We
Yeah.
were just talking about that.
Yeah.
I did on the Sega Dreamcast.
Oh,
that game.
God damn. I used to go to the fucking little like place you drop your kids when you're going to work at the casino. And I'd go down there and I'd play it on their PS2s.
Oh wow.
Nice.
That's awesome.
When, yeah.
But like it has I'm trying to think quickly summarize. But it's sort of like it sort of works in the little that we get from No Way Home, and it has the villain for it is Mr. Negative,
That's a good villain.
and because I feel like he's a villain that could be, they obviously hasn't been in live action. The guy who actually plays him in the PS4 game is an actor, and he did all the mocap, so it'd be very easy to have him like be in the movie.
Which one is Mr. Which one?
He's
is
the
Mr.
one who
Negative?
like he can click and he can correct people, and he has the energy powers, and like when he's on, he's like, I don't know how to describe it, but like he looks almost like a film negative.
Okay.
When he's walking around as like in the suit, which is normally black,
think
is
I might
white.
know who that
He's kind of
is.
like you. If I showed you a picture, He's the Asian mob boss character.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I think I know.
But like
I
he's
think I
he's
know.
he's a good guy, but he has this ability to like he has all these powers and stuff, and but like anyway,
Back to the story.
bad
Back to the
explanation. But like with him as the main villain, and the thing that got me really into creating the story was the whole Peter and Gwen thing, because that was one of the, as sad as it is, that was one of the best parts of Amazing Spider-Man 2. Like one of the best parts of the movie was her death and the fallout from that. And I feel like that's like the big dangling thread that a third movie would deal with.
Yeah, and his little semi-redemption with MJ
in No Way Home
like, was so sick. Like,
and so I thought that was really cool. And if like that's all we get, that's all we get. And I feel like that works. But what I worked into that, my idea was, what if he's having this fight and he's having to deal with this problem, and because of like a gadget, like a multiverse gadget thing or whatever, like we see in the trailer for the new Spider-Verse movie, if they like something happens with that, and Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man's busy getting his ass kicked, and the Spider version of Gwen from another universe saves him, and they have this whole interaction, and they have this whole thing where it's like they realize who each other are, and they're both dead in the other universe.
It's genius. Like
And
it's fucking, it's so good because it follows Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man who like lost Gwen, and it piggybacks right off of like, or springboards right off of the No Way Home arc of him in the fallout of Gwen's death that you never got to see because there wasn't a Spider-Man 3 with Andrew Garfield, and so it springboards off of that, and then introduces Gwen from a different universe who lost her Peter.
Because if you actually, because if you look at if you read the background for the and for those of you who don't know, like if you ever see Into the Spider-Verse, like Gwen Stacy is Spider-Man in her universe, and she has the white and pink suit, and it's really cool. But in her universe, Peter Parker became the Lizard, and she killed him. And so like having that was like the thing that really got me going with this idea, and so writing that out and figuring that out, like. That's probably one of the things I am the most proud of that I have written.
It's sick.
And so like coming up with ideas and stuff for that was really, really cool.
Fuck, man. That's fucking amazing.
I would so love if that got made, but
how
like...
did the ideas flow in for that one? Were they flowing in easy?
It was...
how much research were you really doing?
The research was mostly because like with comic book movies, I feel like because it's an adaptation, there's a lot of wiggle room. Most of the research I did was mostly into like the background of the Spider-Gwen character and trying to work that in and trying to be faithful to that, and also like in terms of like powers that everybody has. But a lot of it was just like stuff that I came up with. Like most of the ideas and set pieces from that are stuff that I just came up with on my own. Like I actually, the thing that I am weirdly good at, and the reason why the first things that I wrote were action related, is because I can design action scenes. I don't know what it is. It's just maybe stuff that I watch or whatever. But I can vary maybe engineer thing, but like but like I can think of like what would be a cool action set piece. Like in the very first story that I wrote, like one of the things in the climax is like because it's about a team. It's like basically like a Black Ops team or whatever.
Call of Duty 4 for the DS2.
Call of Duty 4 for the DS3. But it's a bunch of the basic story for that trilogy of stories. The basic idea for that trilogy of stories, is it's like a team, but they're all from like very different backgrounds, like they're not all military, and then something happens and they disband and they have to come back together. I mean it's whatever, but like one of the final action set pieces is they're trying to get on this train to stop this like bomb that's on the front of it before it reaches this city, and it's like there's four of them there, and the idea is they're at the back of the train, they get to the front of the train. Why not do like have it be like a one take? Where you just have like the camera following them as they're working their way from cover to cover up on the train.
See, don't tell me Kevin's
like
an entire Type A person when he's having these fucking visions, dude. You
Yeah,
can't tell me that.
But that's the thing is they're coming and they make sense.
Well, I get that. I understand that.
Yeah.
I understand that.
And so having stuff like that, or thinking instinctively about like, okay, so this, about like this would be a cool thing to do in this scenario.
Yeah, that's
brilliant.
Yeah, because I struggle with like where I would place things, because I have really good ideas for like visuals, because I mean like my favorite director is Nick Refn, and like
what are some movies Nick Refn is?
Drive and Only God Forgives, Bronson.
Okay.
And so like all of his stuff is so visual, so like
obsessive almost, you know, like it zeroes in on these little things. So I picture images a lot, and I'm like, oh man, that is the coolest. Like, I'll get an idea for a scene, it's just an image or a line or a sequence of music and visual, and I'm like, I need to now set up a plot that leads me to that point, because I just need to have that.
Yeah,
there.
yeah. I'll just get one scene from like I'll get the same thing. I'll have like an idea for an entire like conceptual like project or movie, and then I'll get like the scene that happens an hour and 30 minutes into that
Exactly.
project,
No
and
context.
it'll be like, oh fuck, would be brilliant within this, and it's like, well, like how do you get there? Like I know that.
Yeah,
I know
that's what I mean, and that's because before I thought about ever wanting to write anything of fiction, I came at it from a perspective of poetry, you know, like I'm not great at constructing a plot, but I know how to make people feel things, because that's all I read poetry all the fucking time, and like, so that's like that. I don't know. That would be if I ever get the opportunity to make this screenplay or write another. If I ever get the opportunity to fund a movie, you know, that's gonna be the angle I'm coming from. Like that's my strong suit. Is I want to be a sort of, I would want to direct it very like auteur, very like slow, very intimate, and character driven and very visual. Okay. You know, just very like eye candy and ear candy, like high octane type of shit. You know, because that's the shit I write musically too, kind of, and definitely in poetry. Like a lot of my poetry is very visceral. You know.
Yeah.
But
well, on that note, we're about at an hour and 2 minutes. So, do we want to read some things?
Do you have one in mind?
You would. That I would? I have 3 in mind. 2 that I'm kind of debating between. So I think I've read you Sum of Parts before. I think I've read you that. I'm thinking between that one and the longer Bob Dylan kind of one that I wrote about change. If you've heard that.
I have. Yeah, I remember that one. I think you should read Sum of Parts. Okay. Sum of Parts is like, I don't know. Sum of Parts is in line with a lot of what we've talked about on the podcast before.
Well, that's a good point. So since it's Sum of Parts, should I just go? I'll go last. Since it's the Sum of Parts.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah. Also, real quick, this is the guy I was talking about.
Okay.
Throw up a picture of Mr. Negative.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Underneath the fucking giant glary phone. I'll throw up a picture, Kevin.
Guy.
Kevin, no one's gonna see that.
Sorry.
No one's gonna Kevin. We're working with what we got here, Kevin.
I mean, this would be fine. But anyway, that was just what I was talking about.
All right.
To clear up the confusion, which will not clear up any of the confusion if you're an audio listener.
Yeah, that's true.
Go play Spider-Man. Go play the Spider-Man PS4 game. It's worth your time.
I would imagine. Yeah, I remember when that came out. It had fucking phenomenal controls and graphics.
Yeah, the best part of the
story was well too.
Yeah, best part of the game though, web swinging. The swinging.
The web swinging is what I'm specifically thinking of. Like it just
like,
felt so satisfying. Mm-hmm. It felt like one of those videos of those people with the hot knife cutting soap. That's what web swinging in Spider-Man 4 PS4.
Yeah,
like.
It's so good.
It's fucking phenomenal. Maddie, do you have one picked out there?
No, I've been looking.
No?
I'm almost there.
You're fine.
I gotta find one that isn't like too fucked, but also isn't too boring. That's a very razor thin margin.
It's like you have to tell enough plot in the 5 minutes that you're gonna read it, but also not. We're not worried about getting we're not monetized, so we're not worried about getting demonetized.
We are monetized.
Oh, we are monetized. Okay, well,
on Spotify and Apple Music,
okay,
we are monetized, but we have the explicit content labeling.
Okay,
so we are good to go.
We're fine.
It just whenever Podbean gets some ads for us to place, we'll take them. Yeah, you know, but they are available.
YouTube algorithm. Hello.
Yeah,
we wouldn't mind.
We will eventually perhaps they're gonna email me YouTube when we're eligible for monetization. But I guess that's not really.
Oh, I wrote this. I'll read this. It's an intro, to like a character's journal entry in what would potentially be a film. It like I don't know. It's just I basically just tried to write a journal entry that wasn't like a genuine journal entry of mine. You know what I mean? Like it's a it's a poem kind of. It was more of a writing exercise.
Okay.
But it was a cold Saturday morning in mid to late autumn. It was completely pleasant. Birds chirping, dogs barking, kids playing, the works. I believe it was fall break for the high schoolers, though I could be mistaken.
I woke up around 9 a.m., so the sun was well in the sky, shining its undeserved light upon this backwater ghost town. It is rare, rather astronomically uncommon, that I get more than 3 minutes into my day without cursing the very soil of the city underneath me. Soil it is, indeed. But today was different. I awoke refreshed, enjoying the ambience of the neighborhood around me. Had I known of the dramatic turn of events that were about to transpire before me, I would have savored that morning, every breath, every sound. And that's it.
That's beautiful.
It wasn't setting up anything in particular.
No, but you really describe the descriptive, the imagery. It really put me there. I understand that a bit. I understand a piece of that person.
Like it feels like and I mean it's the best way. Like it feels like something an author would have written, because it has that sort of like you're describing it, but there's also kind of an emotional connect, like a sensualness to it.
Mm-hmm. Thank you, guys.
And it feels, I don't know, it just feels like something that if I were buying a good book and I read it, that's what it would sound like.
Yeah, I try to write it like shit that's very like tactile. Like,
It's less that exactly. It's like song lyrics, and it's less that I feel like I know a piece of that person. I feel like it knows a piece of me.
Nice. Fuck yeah.
Well, Kevin, did you have something that you'd like to do?
I'm trying to. I have to download the freaking Google Drive app and log in. And
okay. Were you thinking about reading a story? Or
I'm probably reading like a little bit of something.
Yeah, read like a little bit of something.
Maybe. Hold on. I have to bring shit up real quick.
Okay. Yeah, no worries. So Matti.
Yes.
You said that was a journal entry of sorts for a character in a movie?
So it was more of like setting up for, it was one of those things where you get a scene without any context and you just like, that would look cool. And so I just kind of like saw like this dude getting up in like Queens, like I don't know, like Astoria, Queens, like some densely populated shitty like one bedroom or like studio apartment, and him like getting out, and he's like a super jaded individual. He's like very cynical New Yorker type dude, and it's his journal entry in hindsight of a morning that he woke up feeling not so shitty.
Oh,
like, you know what I mean?
I understand.
And I don't know, but there's the line in there where he says like, had I known what was about to happen to me, I would have savored every breath of that morning.
Yeah.
I never I never went any further.
That's a very universal feeling, though.
Yeah.
Like the calm before the storm.
Exactly. When in retrospect of a traumatic event or some fucked day, you're just like, damn, I wish I was paying attention before.
Well, that's also a big part of literally nostalgia.
Yeah. The traumatic event being growing up.
Yeah. Hey, Kevin, do you got anything?
Let me see.
Just checking in.
I'll do. Actually, you know what? Since I talked about action so much, I'll do a little bit of action from the Spider-Man thing. Let me pull this up.
We're at it doesn't matter. Read whatever you want.
Okay. So.
If they made it this far, they're gonna make it.
Okay, so for context, this is like there's like this whole sequence just leads up to this, but this is the first contact between Spider-Man and Mr. Negative, and he has this thing where if he touches people, he can sort of like he doesn't really enter their mind.
Negative has this thing?
Yeah, where basically he can like corrupt people, and it's not really mind control, but they sort of follow his will, and so he like and there's a sequence like this in the PS4 game.
It's like,
but he grabs Peter in this moment, and this is
Peter.
Okay,
yeah,
so
the fact that Spider-Man and Peter from Family Guy share the same name really grinds me.
So Peter tries to pry open the door to the room, only for the leader to be standing right in front of him. Peter is shocked at what he sees. Martin, because the guy's name is Martin Lee, he thinks to himself, but the moment of hesitation was all Mr. Lee needed to firmly grasp Spidey's arm. Peter asks what he's doing, but an icy cold sensation quickly spreads over his whole body, and his vision is plunged into darkness. The secure room is soon replaced with a negative-colored and somewhat murky recreation of a New York street. Lee's voice seems to boom from everywhere around Peter. He explains his view on Spider-Man, a clean-cut Boy Scout superhero who many people seem to love, but claims he could be more. With his power and strength, he could wipe out entire gangs single-handedly, but put a permanent stop to the worst of the city's vile scum. But he doesn't, because he won't kill. Peter replies that he doesn't need to kill to help people. This ended up being just like a character scene.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, keep going.
Peter replies that he doesn't need to kill to help people, and that more blood doesn't make the city a better place. Lee counters this, saying he senses so much pain that could have been avenged if he has the stomach for it. The scene shifts to a sight that made Peter's blood run cold. The scene in front of a convenience store 10 years ago with his uncle lying dead in front of him. He recalls the aftermath, saying that killing the man wouldn't have brought his uncle back. Lee remains skeptical, and the scene shifts again. Peter's blood somehow feels even colder as the inside of a clock tower forms around him, the lifeless body of the love of his life in his arms. Lee continues saying that there is a glorious darkness inside Spidey, and that he just needs to embrace it. For a moment, the thought of it enters Peter's mind. But after a moment of mental strain, his will resolves, and he simply replies, no. He can feel his senses coming back to him, and the tower dissolves to reveal Lee standing in front of him. He tries to grab Peter, but he dodges and kicks Lee squarely in the chest, sending him flying backwards. The dark vision suddenly evaporates as Peter in the real world does the same, sending Lee tumbling over the computer console behind him.
Wow.
Dude,
Okay,
yeah,
so
it's
immediately
pretty
I have a thought. The thing that I love about your writing immediately out of the gate, and this is the first time I've heard Kevin's writing, is it feels like you. It feels like you. That's the thing that I think, that's what made it feel special to me, because, like, having gotten to know you all these years and, like, knowing your inner mechanisms, part of those inner mechanisms is, like, being a popcorn person and getting so many ideas so fast that the mouth can't communicate. That's something that we share. And, like, hearing it on paper, like, so poignantly and so articulated and so articulate, like, it really feels like it feels like you, but it just feels like a true expression of what, I don't know, just your energy and the things that you try to portray and the things about you that kind of move the air around you and the people around you and the air around them. It kind of is that in a fucking fictional story. like those elements of you, what I'm trying to say is those elements of you come through in the story so well, in your vocabulary and the phrasing and the way it's just spoken and the ideas themselves. That's what I really liked about it.
Just like the knowledge of like film technique.
Yeah, it's done.
Too.
It's not over the top.
You can visualize it, the way you're describing
like,
it. You can see it.
It's
so
canon.
Easily.
It's canon.
Like, yeah, you can visualize it so fucking well. Because like I've never really appreciated action as a genre until you started showing me movies. You know, because like, you know, I like all that weird fucking. I watch a lot of fucking random artsy fucking shit, but I never appreciated like action films on the technical mastery level until you start showing me like classics like The Rock and like fucking Broken Arrow. And
yeah,
Broken
Arrow, by the way, it's very like a lot of people call it a guilty pleasure. It's a fucking good movie.
No, it's so goddamn good because it's like, yeah, there's movies that like are intimate to me that are like just like, I don't know, like comfort, or they're like they bring up something in me that I try to avoid normally, and then they help me deal with problems because there's intimate movies that are special to my heart, but then there's movies that are just, as a creator, are so fucking fun to watch because it's like this is impressive. It's so fucking impressive and well done, and there's just passion and love there and care and like nerd shit.
I feel that way about
like,
fucking Wes Anderson shit.
Well, Wes Anderson is a perfect middle ground for me. Because he feels quaint and intimate enough to hit me in that soul level, but he also makes shit that's just like, you know, like well done.
I guess the other side of the spectrum that's impressive with like full extreme of that side is like Avatar.
Exactly.
Yeah,
it's like holy fuck,
and
this is amazing looking.
Yeah, the way that you can write in that domain and still like express genuine human drama simultaneously is fucking awesome. Like that's what Marvel movies attempt to do.
I really appreciate it because like those are like my very favorite. If you look at like a list of my favorite movies, like for something to be one of, I mean, this isn't like a concrete list, but like a lot of my favorite movies tend to be bigger movies, but they're movies that have, you know, spectacle and they have action, but they have to have that along with having a good story.
Right.
Because. And I like movies that have just the story part of it and not the action. And I like some movies that have just the action part and not the story part.
Yeah.
But I feel like for it to be one of those movies that I will always enjoy and always come back to, for the most part, it has to have a good combination of both of those. I mean, that's why I love, even though it just came out this year, why I love Top Gun Maverick so much.
Oh, yeah.
Is because that's like the perfect combination of you have a very, it is actually a very personal story. It's just with Maverick and with Goose's son and like a few other characters, but then you have this like the all of the flying scenes and the sense of tension.
Yeah, it was
Like-
so wildly entertaining, but still very grounded and very
I
personal.
liked it better than the first one.
Yeah,
Oh,
no,
me too.
it was
Yeah,
it was
no,
it
me
was
too.
absolutely, it was one of the very very few sequels that's better than the first one.
Everything Everywhere All at
Yeah.
Once
Yeah,
is another perfect example of that. Almost a more like in your face extreme version of that.
Yeah.
Because it's like that's the most out there, like high concept, hard to pull off shit. But it still made me cry.
yeah, like it's
in a way that wasn't like someone's dying and you're watching the character go no,
But just, like,
it was a
genuine-
way of like, holy fuck, I've never thought about that before. I've never heard that expressed like that before. It's
like
so
all
human.
of this just wacky ass shit going on in that movie, and it boils down to an intimate relationship between a mother, a daughter, and a husband.
Yeah, and how to like we talked about this in the film thing, but like the appreciation of the mundane. You know, it seemed to be a theme for me that spoke out that really made me emotional, especially during Wayman's, her husband's monologue around the third
I
act.
haven't seen
Fucked
this
me up.
movie still.
We
so-
need to watch it together.
Yes,
Don't watch it without
yes.
me. It's so good.
All
I need to
right.
watch it again. Like
Well,
it's
speaking of everything everywhere all at once, I have a poem to read called Sum of Parts. And Maddie, you're kind of blocking Kevin.
If I don't have a chair, I
It's-
just start moving.
it's fine. It's
no,
fine.
No, I'm cozy.
yeah. You. By the way, just to make this clear,
I did.
I
offer my chair.
offered to sit there because
I offered up my
he is
chair, yeah.
they are the host.
I did. I'm a piece of shit.
And it was like no, you take the chair. You're the guest. I was like,
No, Kevin definitely would have taken one of our chairs for sure. But this is not my favorite. I wouldn't say this is my favorite poem
This is one of my
that I've
favorites
written.
That you've written.
This is one of Maddie's favorites of mine. This is. I like this one, but I like others in different artistic ways because they're like closer to me. But they might, I don't know. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But all right, it doesn't really matter. This is Sum of Parts. Do the ends justify the means? Do the rivers flow from streams? Does that mean anything? Sum of Parts. Am I flesh and bone, guts and gore? Just energy or something more? Am I more than what you bargained for? Sum of Parts. Is there something deep inside of me, breathing whispers with the breeze? Something different, uniquely me? Are we destined to die? Are we just tongue-in-cheek? Am I just a collection of emotional strings, tied together too tight without reason or being? Just a big random jumble of opinions and stardust? Are we more than our thoughts? Do our actions define us? Am I hollowed out, molded, squished, pressed, and squeezed? Or does some X factor reside buried leagues deep within me? Do the ends justify the means? Whatever that means. Sum of parts. And then at the end there's a little spoken word. A collective God. No just one God. Is there a God? Are we the God? I mean, are we just, fucking bodies? I wrote, ha. I mean, is this it? I don't know who does. I guess if it is it, then what are we supposed to do about it? Just let go and make the most of it. Stop thinking so damn much. Just do and create what makes us happy, even if we're just guessing. Be our own God. That way we're never disappointed. And maybe, just maybe, we squeeze some evolution or higher plane of thinking out of it and become more on our own accord and free will than just, I don't know, a sum of parts.
It's very, very
that was
good.
very good.
Very, very good. What I love so much about it is how it evolves as it goes on in like the way you talk, because it starts very like super.
Each line is read. I do that on purpose. Each line is kind of its own thing, and then the more it
It
goes on,
slowly
it
gets
connects
more like
speeds
letting go. It lets go as it goes on because the way it opens is very like postulative and like. Like maybe this, and it reminds me of Ralph Waldo a lot. Well, it reminds me of transcendentalism in general. Of like, this is a question. Like this poem is a question, essentially, a very existential question, and then like vaguely religious almost. And then as it goes, it develops, and you start to get less formal with like your speech, in a technical sense. But then like, it's almost like this is your technical like formal writing level, and then this is like your confidence in your thesis, and as you become more confident and start answering the question that you posed at the beginning, the formal nature of your speech decreases.
You know what I mean?
Dude, I think you're right, but I never like did that on purpose. Like I never noticed that. Like I only
Because you're being so genuine.
I
when
only
you
tried
write
to
it.
talk faster the more it went on.
Because that's the fucking creative flow that you got, and when you fucking wrote it, as you started to answer your own question, you started to come out of the poetic, like veiled speech, and you started to just talk like yourself. And you finish the poem by the end of being like, well, shit, fucking Jesus, I guess we better, like, maybe we could do this with that. You know, and it was just, and it's like, it's so fucking good.
Thank you.
It's
I never
so
thought about it that way. You're right. And I think the reason for that is that it has a story. And the songs, or the poem story was that I had one of the worst fucking bipolar mental fits I've ever had in my life. Just absolutely shitting my pants, pissing, crying, and then angry, and then like just I was fucking like going full manic depressive, like bad, to the point where like you couldn't look me in the eyes and see me. And the only thing that brought me back to earth was like my dad. And like I was losing myself, and I was kind of in the space where I was so gone. I was like, I fucking don't know what like while I was trying to express just a concept.
Yeah.
My speech sounded like that. And I calmed down after about an hour, and I sat outside in the rain for the next 6 and listened to like all of Bon Iver's discography, and just pulled out my phone and I wrote that, and I had it in like 30 minutes. Just all came out in 30 minutes.
Yeah, that's fucking sick.
Right after that.
Yeah, that's a phenomenal piece of writing.
That's
Thank you, buddy.
Because it kind of to piggyback on. I mean, I guess we should probably wrap this up sooner or later. But because one of the things that I'm so happy that you pointed out that with the when I was writing about my writing is that I feel like one of the most important things for any, I mean, this goes for art generally, but because we're talking about writing here, is having your own creative voice. Because that's something that I worry about. Because I feel like, particularly with my dialogue, which I didn't get into really there, but I feel like a lot of the dialogue that I write and stuff is very functional. And I don't know, because I have that very type A personality, if a lot of the stuff, if I have a creative voice, or am I just simply speaking and describing a series of events? And it's very, and I feel like it definitely comes across with both of the things that you guys read, the having that creative voice and that creative passion behind that. And I think it's very important to have, and you guys should be glad that you have it.
Thank you so much, Kevin.
Thank you very much.
Well, you do have a creative voice, by the way.
Yeah, that's the whole thing. I was driving like.
Yeah,
well,
but it's just like it's because when you're looking at your own stuff, you don't see it as much because it's your writing.
Yeah, it's like not knowing what your own house smells like.
Well, I'm constantly hyper aware of that about my own shit.
Right.
Like I'm always third personing, so I'm like on the opposite end of that spectrum. Like I'm always aware of how it might be perceived, but I'm so hyper aware it can get skewed because I only have my perception of my internal mechanisms.
Yeah, you know, you are hyper perceptive.
I'm just guessing.
Of yourself.
I'm just guessing.
Yeah, but it's still your own perception, like of putting a mirror against itself.
Exactly.
But I like the house fucking thing. It's like you don't know how your own house smells like
Until you've like
And-
gone
yeah,
away
until
for
you've
3
left for
months.
long enough to come back.
And if you can, doing that is, I guess, the analogy finishes with like the equivalent of leaving your house for 3 months is like,
Well,
meditation.
just like
Doing a
just
shitload
like
of
leaving your
psychedelics,
house.
I don't know.
Just like leaving your house for 3 months, it is time to leave this room for another 7 days. At least for all of you. But thank you, Kevin, so much for coming
Thank
on
you,
the
Kevin.
podcast.
It
It
has
has been an
been-
absolute joy to have
This
you.
has
Oh my
been
God.
this has been fucking
Okay.
awesome, guys. I've loved.
Pleasure it was.
Wait, we
Hold on.
thumbnail.
Oh, yeah.
I have it
Thumbnail.
in my other hand.
That's a good.
It's a pentagram.